Hi, welcome back to Archicad Basic Training. Now we're going to cover the roof tool. We just covered the slab tool, and now we're going to look at the roof tool. So with the layout that we've already kind of established here, I'm going to use the roof tool. So I'm going to go over the toolbox here, and I click on the roof tool, and if I double click on it, I can get the settings dialog box here. I can also click this little flyout button, and I can get different types of favorites, and I recommend that you use the favorites for roof or construction types that you're familiar with or you're using in your projects. But in any event, let's go to the roof tool settings again. So just like with all other tools, you're going to have a datum point from which your element is going to be placed. So this one's saying it's going to be the pivot point is 10 feet above the home story. We're setting this story or setting this element to the roof story, so it's going to be 10 feet above the roof or 10 feet above the first floor. And then we have, again, different methods of construction or construction types. So we have these composites here. So you have like a roof shingles with wood, and it looks like it's a 2x4 kind of construction. Overall, it's saying it's 6 3/4 inch. And I recommend if you use or create your own composites that you kind of use this similar nomenclature or naming convention, just so that like if anybody else uses your project or later on down the road that you are modifying your project, you can easily see the construction type with all the materials that are in it and also the overall thickness. So let's just use a metal roof. Let's see if we have a good metal roof here. Doesn't look like we have a good metal roof. This one's like 1.25 inches, so that's just like the sheathing and then the metal roof. So let's just use a shingle roof. And so we have both the composite, or we have a standard kind of element construction. This is the slope of the roof, so let's just make it 3 and 12. And just be careful when you're setting this 3 and 12, because it can be degrees, percentages in 12 feet or in 12 inches. And then we could define what that roof edge looks like. If it's 90 degrees, so it's perpendicular to the roof slope, and then so we can have perpendicular. We can also have a custom edge. This one's starting at 90 degrees. So we'll just do that. And so we also have how it's going to show up. So if what story is this going to show up? So this one says one home story and 1 story up. And then we also have how it's going to be cut. And you're going to want to adjust these to your office standards or your graphic standards. And then you can also have a cover fill. And so for the cover fill, you can choose your own cover fill. And, for a shingled roof, we want to use shingles. So we'll just use this one. And I guess that's fine for a pin weight. And then in the last or second to last section, you can define how it looks in your model with different materials or surfaces. And finally, we have the ability to adjust some of the parameters within it, and like the ID, whether it's load bearing or not, even which element it should be. So this is already kind of preset, and then you can change the layer. So let's just set one of these up. So we have 2 different types of construction. So if we select this type of construction, it's going to be a multi-plane geometry. And here we have, again, either it's a complex multiple point selection, or if it's just going to be 2 points, and then it can be gabled or hip. And then this is also gabled or hip, and it's also a 3-point connection. So we're going to use this one. And what I like to do, since I've already got my walls kind of in place, my floor is there, and I know the edge of my wall, I can just use my magic wand with this multi-plane geometry and just click on the outside face of structure, and then I can define the direction I want the materials to go, and voila, we have a roof that I just used with the magic wand. So let me show you that one more time. So what I did, I just select the roof, make sure all my selections sets are set here, and I'm going to use the multi-plane geometry method, and then I just go over here and use the spacebar, which is the magic wand, and then I can select the edge of the wall or the slab, and I have a roof generated. There's a lot more to the roof tool, so join me in the next lesson where we dive a little bit deeper into this tool. Thanks.